Welcome back to the Fringe Factor and part 2 of the FBI UFO file archives, where we will read through 2 more sets of documents found in the FBI's vault. Here we see the 2 front pages of the 2 sets of documents that we are reading through here, UFO section 2 and 3, and I've also placed a link to the documents in the description box below. Here we have a teletype dated August 7th or 7th of July, either one, of 47. It is addressed to the director and the special agent in charge in Cincinnati, and it's titled Flying Disc Information Concerning. It reads here, telephonically advised this office that an object purporting to be a flying disc was recovered near Roswell, New Mexico. This date. The disc is hexagonal in shape and was suspended from a balloon by cable, which balloon was approximately 20 feet in diameter. Redacted further advised that the object found resembles a high-altitude weather balloon with a radar reflector, but that telephonic conversation between their office and right field had not, redacted, borne out this belief. Disc and balloon being transported to right field by special plane for examination. Information provided this office because of national interest in case. Now, this is pretty fascinating with in light of what we've been seeing in the last few days with the initially the Chinese balloon that looked like it almost had a satellite attached to it. Weather balloons are quite common, but it's interesting, this description here that we're reading from back in 47 is very eerily similar to what we've seen in recent days. Next here we have a memorandum to the director. It is dated September 2nd of 1947, and the subject is flying discs. It is from the special agent in charge in Butte. It reads, with reference to the above described teletype, Mr. Redacted, Twin Falls, Idaho, was the principal source of information. Mr. Redacted, who is the executive director of the Redacted, explained that he and his wife and Mrs., again redacted, a neighbor, were sitting on their front porch at approximately 9:30 p.m. August 19th, 1947, he stated that she had seen an object traveling at a terrific rate of speed in a northeasterly direction. The object was out of sight before Mr. again Redacted and Mrs. Redacted could see anything. While they were discussing what Mrs. Redacted had seen, approximately 10 minutes later, all 3 saw 10 similar objects proceeding rapidly in the same direction in the form of a triangle. As the group of objects was disappearing, 3 of the objects on the left flank peeled off and proceeded a more northerly direction. The remaining objects appeared 2 close ranks and proceeded in a northeasterly direction. From 3 to 5 minutes later, these same individuals saw another group of 3 objects proceeding in the same direction, and again in the shape of a triangle. From 3 to 5 minutes later, all 3 observed another group of triangular formation consisting of 5 or 6 objects. They were proceeding in the same direction. A few minutes later, the 3 persons saw a large group of objects estimated at from 35 to 30 or to 50 flying in a triangular formation in the same direction. Approximately 20 or 25 minutes after the large group of objects was observed, similar objects were noted coming back over the city in a southwesterly direction. These objects were generally in groups of 3, 5, and 7 and followed each other at approximately 5-minute intervals. This here is a memorandum dated July 28th of 1947. It is addressed to the director with the attention to the assistant director, D.M. Ladd, from the special agent in charge in San Francisco, and the subject reads Flying Discs. There is transmitted herewith for the information of the Bureau a report received from Lieutenant Redacted A2 Hamilton Field, California, containing the results of an investigation by his office concerning the reported sighting of flying discs. In addition to containing the detailed description of what was allegedly seen by several persons, the Bureau's attention is particularly called to the first memorandum setting forth the notes of Agent Redacted CIC 4th Air Force concerning an interview he had with Mr. Redacted Box 387, Boise, Idaho, who reported that on July 12, 1947, he had seen 9 strange objects flying over the Cascade Mountain Range of Washington State. It will be noted that CIC Agent Redacted reports that Mr. Redacted is very outspoken and somewhat bitter in his opinions of the leaders of the United States Army, Air Forces, and the FBI for not having made an investigation of this matter sooner. The thought has occurred to me that the Bureau might desire to have an agent of the Butte office contact Mr. Redacted and explain to him our lack of jurisdiction in such matters. Here we have an interesting memorandum to DM Ladd from whoever that is redacted. Its subject reads, Flying Discs. Special Agent Redacted of the Liaison Section, while discussing the above captioned phenomena with Lieutenant Colonel Redacted of the Air Force's Intelligence, expressed the possibility that flying discs were in fact a very highly classified experiment of the Army or Navy. Mr. Redacted was very much surprised when Colonel Redacted not only agreed that this was a possibility, but confidentially stated that it was his personal opinion that such was a probability. Colonel Redacted indicated confidentially that a Mr. Redacted, who is a scientist attached to the Air Force's intelligence, was of the same opinion. Colonel Redacted stated that he based his assumption on the following. He pointed out that when flying objects were reported seen over Sweden, the high brass of the War Department exerted tremendous pressure on the Air Force's intelligence to conduct research and collect information in an effort to identify these sightings. Colonel Redacted stated that, in contrast to this, we have reported sightings of unknown objects over the United States, and the high brass appeared to be totally unconcerned. He indicated that this led him to believe that they knew enough about these objects to express no concern. Colonel Redacted pointed out further that the objects in question have been seen by many individuals who are what he terms trained observers, such as airplane pilots. He indicated also that several of the individuals are reliable members of the community. He stated that it is his conclusion that these individuals saw something. He stated the above has led him to come to the conclusion that there were objects seen which somebody in the government knows all about. Mr. Redacted pointed out to Colonel Redacted that if it is a fact, experimentations are being conducted by the United States government, then it does not appear reasonable to request the FBI to spend money and precious time conducting inquiries with respect to this matter. Colonel Redacted stated that he agreed with Mr. Redacted in this regard and indicated that it would be extremely embarrassing to the Air Force's intelligence if it later is learned that these flying discs are in fact an experiment of the United States government. Mr. Redacted subsequently discussed this matter with Colonel Redacted of the Intelligence Division of the War Department. Colonel Redacted stated that he had discussed the matter previously with General Chamberlain. Colonel Redacted indicated to Mr. Redacted that he has the assurance of General. And this was here, I guess, dated September 23rd of 1947. Here we have another memorandum sort of saying the same thing. It's dated September 16th of 1947, again addressed to the same person, DM Ladd, Flying Discs. Special Agent Redacted of the Liaison Section has discussed with Lieutenant Colonel George Redacted of the Intelligence Division of the Air Forces the possibility that the flying discs or saucers are in fact a project of the Army Air Forces. It should be noted that Colonel Redacted agreed with this possibility. At that time, Mr. Redacted pointed out to Colonel Redacted the possible embarrassing position of the Intelligence Division of the Air Forces if it was subsequently ascertained that this was the truth, especially since they had requested the assistance of the Bureau in the captioned matter. This here is a memorandum dated August 23rd of 1947. It is to the Bureau and from the Special Agent in charge in Portland. Flying Discs, Security Matter X. The following investigation was conducted at Canyonville and Myrtle Creek, Oregon on August 12, 1947. We got a whole bunch of redacted text here. Roseburg, Oregon operator of the, again redacted, Myrtle Creek, Oregon advised that on I believe it's August 6th of 47 at approximately 6:15 p.m. while instructing a student in a takeoff at the airport, he noticed an object east of Myrtle Creek which appeared to be from 5,000 to 8,000 feet in the air. The sky was completely clear and visibility was excellent. He stated that the object glistened and appeared to be of aluminum sheeting. Upon noticing it, he had immediately taken over the controls of the plane, which at that time was at 400 feet, and proceeded east in an attempt to further observe the object. He advised that the object appeared to be climbing and traveling east at a high rate of speed, which he estimated on a computer in his plane as 1,000 miles per hour. He believed the object to be spherical in shape and recalled noticing a darker object to the right of the first time he saw it. He observed no vapor trails, nor did he hear any noise from the object. After searching the area for approximately 10 minutes, Redacted and his student, Redacted, returned to the airport and made another landing and takeoff in practically the same position at 400 feet altitude. Both Redacted and Redacted saw the object in approximately the same position as before. Office memorandum dated August 18, 1947 to DM Ladd. Reference is made to your telephonic conversation with the director on Wednesday of last week, at which time the director advised that Los Angeles papers carried under a Washington dateline an article indicating the Soviet espionage agents in the United States are under instruction to solve the flying discs. Such instructions were believed to be based on the assumption that the flying discs were a secret weapon of the Army or Navy. The article attributed the source of its information to a federal investigative agency. Pursuant to your instructions, liaison representatives have contacted the headquarters of military intelligence, the headquarters of the Air Force's intelligence, Office of Naval Intelligence, and CIG. All agencies denied that any knowledge of the flying discs, as well as any knowledge of the basis for this article. And that wraps it up for this presentation. If you enjoy this video, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.